Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today we're starting off a new series on this channel. It's called Air Crash Investigation. And for this first episode, I actually want to do something pretty exciting because it's the first episode, obviously. So I started nothing more than Air Canada 143, also referred as the Gimli glider. So now we are gonna investigate like what the heck happened to this plane. So first, let's play the video file. As you can see, the plane runs out of fuel, 41,000 feet, and at the radar, it still gets displayed. But as the plane continues to run out of fuel, completely dies, the plane disappears off a radar because the beacon transmitter is, of course, powered by fuel, and it doesn't work now. So now the pilots are taking their acts. As you can see, the engine throttle down. They are doing their own checklists and other things. As you can see, the captain deployed the rat so that he can power some of the hydraulics for the pitch, the turn, the landing gear, and just for the three main things that a plane needs. The controls are trying to actually spot the aircraft on radar, but it's of no use. Now the front gear gets stuck, making the pilots work even harder. So now they even want to land at Gimli because they can't divert to Winnipeg. And Gimli's runway is completely ruined. Now he's doing a side slip, which is banking the plane. He's banking the plane to the right,
left,
and applying right rudder, which is the opposite of that. That's how you do a side slip. It's for gliders, not for a gigantic 767. I love this pilot. Look, the people in the left seats see only ground, the right-hand seats only see sky. Now, at the last minute, the pilot actually diverts from his side slip and goes into landing mode. That's so awesome. And he doesn't put the gear until the plane is slowed down. And the plane actually ate up through a little bit of guardrail. As you can see, the fuselage got beat up a little bit. And now, let's do the investigation. So, the flight was normal at the beginning, but there was a minor problem. The fuel gauges of the 767 were actually not working at that time. So they had to calculate it with a little calculator. But another obstacle, Canada had changed their fuel readings for bigger aircraft, but smaller aircraft still use the same thing, but bigger, it had changed. And they had forgotten to actually convert the older readings to the newer readings, which is actually pretty bad if you ask me. Then the plane took off and they thought it was okay, they had converted it. But then at 41,000 feet, the first warning actually sounds in the cockpit, saying that one engine has failed on them. The pilots know what they're doing, they do the emergency checklists, but then, oh disaster! Then the other engine also fails, and the plane completely runs out of fuel because it had got half the fuel it needed to continue to its destination. Then the pilot decides to divert to Winnipeg, which was the closest open airport at that time. But then another problem appeared. They disappeared off a radar. Why? Because they had run out of fuel, and their transmitter beacon, of course, runs with fuel, and with no fuel, the beacon also didn't work. So the pilots actually turned on their older beacon in the 767, but it didn't show their altitude, their direction or speed. It just showed Air Canada 143 on the radar. So then the pilot actually engaged the rat, which is a little turbine fan down on the bottom of the aircraft, which powers three main hydraulics, pitch and turn and landing gear. Those are, of course, powered by hydraulics, and those are the three main parts the pilots need to land an aircraft. So then they deployed the landing gear because actually they thought they were going to make it to Winnipeg, but they actually weren't because they were really low on fuel. Nothing was working properly. So the pilot actually decided to land the plane on Gimli. Where is Gimli? It's a small town in Canada, but it has a closed-in military airport, which its runway was converted to a racetrack. So it was a guardrail separating two halves of the runway into racetracks. So now the plane had to land on a guardrailed runway. Pilots first didn't know about that, but when they saw it, it was too late to divert to the other side of the runway. But another obstacle. The front gear of the aircraft had to come out halfway but had gone stuck just like this. I know it's a 787 model. It come out but stuck like at this position. The door was open on the front gear's engagement point, and it would eat up all the runway. I mean, it could stop eventually, but it will eat through the runway, that door. So then they decided to land, but the pilots were unknown they were not lined up with the runway at Gimli. So decided to do a really rapid turn to line up really fast, and that's called a side slip. Just done on gliders. I mean, glider pilots often do this side slip, but unheard of in commercial aviation. Now, Captain Pearson had never actually, he was a glider pilot, but he has never done a side slip in a glider before. But now he was trying one in a Boeing 767. The side slip went okay. Like, you bank the plane to the left, you bank the plane to the left, right, right rudder, the plane went like this. While landing, the plane had to make a sudden turn to line itself up with the back gear touching down first. It wasn't going to crash, obviously. So the pilot made a sudden turn to make the back landing gear line up, then it touched down. He was holding up the rear gear so much until the airspeed got really low, and then he put down the nose. But imagine this is the guardrail. The plane got eaten up by a little bit of the guardrail, but then it had landed. But actually, 10 passengers were injured while evacuating the aircraft, with just 10 injuries, no fatalities. So that's just job done for me. And the pilots got the highest award in commercial aviation for landing this plane, and the passengers were all safe. So now, hope you guys enjoyed this first ever episode of our new series. It was really enjoyable for me. Hope it was also for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, like this video, share it, whatever you want to do. Just don't dislike. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one. This is Ali Ahmed Abadi signing off.